Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown. The three, steps back, crossover, puts up a three. Rebound James. Seconds. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Good evening, Cavs fans, and, well, I guess depending on the day you look at this, good week, Cavs fans. I'm so used to doing post-game still. And welcome to the special edition of the Block the Shot to Stop, a Cleveland Cavaliers podcast. I'm Tim Daniel. He's Skylar Webker. Kevin Lynch is the week off the week, so Skylar and I are holding it down, and I think it has been since been a long time since it's just been the two of us on a show. So, yeah. Should be fun to do today. But how you doing, bud?
Doing good. It's cool to see. I feel better about getting knocked out to the Pacers now that the Pacers are in the finals. Like you're like, oh yeah, if the finals team, that's the team that we got knocked out by, versus like, oh, somebody that just lost the next round. Yeah,
I get it. I don't know. I still stand by, and I know it's a segment we're going to have at some point during this offseason, but I still stand by. I feel much better about a fully healthy Cavs team probably playing in the finals right now and us celebrating. But I will live with it. I will accept it, and I'll be looking forward to next year. I'm already stoked for next season, and I know that's silly because they just got eliminated 2 weeks ago and all that. But I'm so ready for it again. I miss it already. I'm itching for summer league. It's just a problem I have as a basketball junkie, I guess.
You really are a junkie, man. In no days off. You're already ripping into try to get the 2027 season going.
Well, so you got to think the Reds are awful, as you know.
Well, yeah.
The Fever are 2-4 right now. Caitlin Clark's hurt. So I got a whole lot of nothing. Yeah. Got a whole lot of nothing. But you know what? We'll live. We'll figure it out. All right, man. So let's go ahead and get to kind of around the league stuff first. And obviously we now know the NBA Finals are officially going to be the Indiana Pacers, who eliminated the Cleveland Cavaliers and just defeated the New York Knicks against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And here's the thing. Here's where I'm going to start with this. I've seen the conversation. The conversation's really dumb for what it's worth. But already I'm hearing all the, well, the NBA didn't want this. There's no way they wanted to see Indiana, Oklahoma City play in the finals. And I truthfully don't think that they care about that as much, because regardless, they're going to have a worldwide viewing of the finals, regardless of what the ratings say they are. And I'm so sick of ratings conversations. I think it's the dumbest thing that people focus so much on that. But stylistically, I'm really excited for this finals. I don't think Indiana's going to win, but I've also not thought they were going to beat the Cavs, and they did. So I'm going to hold out judgment there. But I think as far as the style of both teams, it's a lot of fun. It's Halliburton versus Shea is a really fun matchup. Siakam and Miles Turner going against Chet and Jalen Williams is a really nice matchup. Their benches are really solid. I'm excited. It might be something where Oklahoma City wins in 5 or 6, but I think there's going to be some really good games in there.
I think this is what you want as far as to anybody that's like, oh, I miss the physicality of the 80s and 90s and mid-range jumpers. This is exactly what you'd want, right? Both these teams play with pace, play physical, and aren't super reliant on the 3-point shot. So I mean, this is what you would want as a basketball junkie or anybody that's wants those nostalgic basketball feelings. This is the finals for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of interesting because they are two teams that just run and gun. They just push the pace. They are really fast. They got a lot of shooters. It's just I feel like Indiana is and I don't mean this in any way, shape, or form as disrespect, but I feel like they're Oklahoma City light, where I think Oklahoma City's better. Indiana does a lot of similar things. I just think the Thunder as a talent level are a little bit better. Though I'm pulling for Indiana. I'll be honest. I do want to see Indiana win this.
Yeah, I think talent-wise, I would go with Thunder, but the thing that we talked about that we were missing from the Cavs, just that playoff attitude and playoff dudes. I think that's Indiana to a T. I think they have guys that'll bite your head off.
Yeah, absolutely. So cool. All right, now we don't have to talk anymore about the pain that the Cavaliers are not playing this week, in the first week of June. So let's go ahead and get to some Cavs news real quick, just to kind of get this make our round. So right now the Cavaliers are looking at the possibility that they could lose an assistant. The only issue is you don't know which one, because currently, as the Phoenix Suns are looking for their new head coach and they're looking to go into their new era, sans Kevin Durant, it looks like, because he will highly unlikely be a member of the Phoenix Suns next year. I would put money on it that Kevin Durant will play for the Minnesota Timberwolves next year. But
Wow.
I will hold that out. So right now, Johnny Bryant and Jordan Ott, both Cavs assistants on Kenny Atkinson's staffs, are in Phoenix this week doing in-person interviews for the Suns head coaching position. Also interviewing for this position is former Cleveland Cavalier guard Chris Quinn. So a couple more Cavs ties in there. So obviously a really good staff last year. Kenny Atkinson, coach of the year. Johnny Bryant was the assistant you saw the most of, realistically throughout the season. So either one of these guys would be a tough loss. I still think the team would obviously be very good. I don't think this makes the team take a step back by any means. But if they do lose one of these two guys, it sounds like it would be more likely to be Bryant if one of them are selected for the Phoenix job. Be big shoes to fill for whoever's going to step up and take his role.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that this is happening so soon. As far like obviously winning teams, they get their staffs kind of picked apart. That's any team, that's any sport where that happens. I'm just surprised, like after only 1 year with the Cavs, that's the mentality, or that's what's the reality, I should say, because like it's usually like takes some time, but they have this staff has shown exactly what it can do, and I think the rest of the league wants a piece of that.
Yeah.
And I'm curious who the Cavs would pick to fill either one of these guys' shoes.
What if DeMarre Carroll gets a promotion?
I can see it.
Yeah. So here's a funny thing about DeMarre Carroll. I think I might have mentioned this on the show before during the season. So in 2K, obviously they do a really good job of getting like everyone in the game, coaches, assistants, and all that. So DeMarre Carroll's scan to be a coach for the Cleveland Cavaliers in the game is his scan from when he was an NBA player, actually active NBA player. So you see him in the coaching like quarter zip with a sweatband on in the game, sitting on the bench, like as a coach. It's my favorite thing.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I know. I crack up every time I see it. So yeah, I mean, obviously you're there, but it would be interesting to see. I didn't see who the other people were besides Chris Quinn interviewing for it, but David Bliss from the Oklahoma City Thunder is also interviewing. I'm getting this as we go through, but obviously the big thing here is Johnny Bryant's really close to Donovan Mitchell from their time with the Jazz together. So I wonder if that's something where Donovan is going to try to keep his boy in Cleveland, but I don't think he'd actually keep him from having success by any means. So
yeah, I mean, it's first off, can we talk about how much of a terrible position it would be to be the head coach of the Suns this next year? But I mean, it gives you the head coach title on your resume, which then hopefully you can go somewhere else and get, because the Suns situation is
it's the Cleveland Browns. Yeah.
It is exactly the Cleveland Browns, an overactive owner who thinks that they can just 2K a team and just it crashes and burns.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree. All right, so other stuff here. It sounds like the Cavs are leaning in on a strong possibility that Ty Jerome's going to be coming back.
Yeah, 14 mil.
You and I talked about this quite a bit. It's kind of what we suspect, but I have to imagine this means that might be the end of Sam Merrill. Nothing set in stone. So. Yeah, and I've been listening to like every Cavs podcast under the sun since the season ended, and our friend Spencer Davies was just on Locked On Cavs with Danny Cunningham, and they were talking about the guys who they thought would stay and go. And I think Spencer Davies actually said he expected that Sam and Ty would both stay. So, and obviously they know far more than we do about the team. But thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah, I suspected Ty Jerome would be back. The only team I could really see making a move for him is like the Nets, because they're the only team that has cap space. Because I can't imagine the Knicks, who are another team I can see being a fit for him basketball wise, are going to try to go spend the money on him it would take to get him, because they would be really expensive. So I think this is the best fit for him. Obviously, two of his best friends are here, and Hunter and Mitchell. So, run it
The
back.
other thing is, like, with the NBA apron rules and everything, like, it just the Caps can't do it. That's going to cost them a lot more in tax dollars to do it, but they can do it. They can re-sign players, which is something that other second apron teams can't do. They can't sign. They have restrictions on free agents that they can sign, but to re-sign, you can spend as much as you want. And I'm all for spending Dan Gilbert's money.
Yeah, I think Dan Gilbert's also all for spending Dan Gilbert's money.
$500,000 for the Cavaliers snow to use it once.
Yeah, I watched. Do you ever watch that Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on YouTube? Yeah, it's not bad. I think sometimes their segments are a little outlandish, but most of the time I think they're pretty on point. And they were talking about. I was listening to watch an episode a couple weeks ago, right the day after they got eliminated, and they were having the conversation about Dan Gilbert, and like, yeah, he wants to spend money because he wants to be able to say he won without LeBron. That's his goal. And I get that, but I also know that for a fact, I shouldn't say for a fact, 'cause I don't know anyone within the organization, but if the Lakers called the Cavs tomorrow and were like, hey, you guys want LeBron back, we'll give you Bronny, but you have to take Bronny, I have a hard time believing the Cavs wouldn't do it.
Oh, in a heartbeat. They couldn't accept that offer fast enough.
Yeah. I don't know if he wants to end his career here, but I know like Simmons floated that trade out the other day about that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't work financially whatsoever, about LeBron for Jared Allen and DeAndre Hunter. And it was like, why would the Lakers do that? Realistically, I mean, I could see why they would do it, but would they really do it? Because they're a team that wants superstars.
I mean, they longevity wise, because you have a 25-year-old Doncic now, sure, but is your team better with LeBron and Doncic, or Doncic, Allen, and Hunter?
Yeah, and Hachimura. Like, if there's a way the Cavs get Rui Hachimura, I will listen to that conversation.
I would love to get Rui.
Yeah, but depending on what it is, because I don't know. Think of it at this point. We'll go through this for the year. I have a hard time thinking Isaac Okoro is going to be on the Cavs next year, especially if Sam Merrill's back. That's where it gets expensive. It's 3 bench guys that you'll be paying $36 million. And we just talked about, I know Dan Gilbert is going to have the ability to spend his money. And he wants to spend his money because he wants to win. But I think Okoro, you kind of talked about it earlier with Indiana, postseason guys. I love Isaac Okoro. I think he's done a lot of great things. And I'm saying this because Kevin's not here to yell at me, because Kevin's the president of the fan club. I think we've proven that if he's in a game in the playoffs, it's 5-on-4 on offense, and you can't win that way.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I would say the same thing probably for Dean Wade too. Just does all these regular season things for you that you love, but as soon as the playoffs came, like, it just felt like these guys evaporated. And they've had their moments of shine, especially on the defensive end, but you win by outscoring the other team.
Correct.
And that's where the Cavs fell short, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, dude. So before we get into our big topic for the week, I did want to touch on some fun Cavs moments, because we need those right now. By the way, I have to just say this out loud, and I'm saying this on wax because that way it's out there. Do you realize this, Skylar? This upcoming season, this 2025-2026 season, I can't believe this is coming out of my mouth, is the 10-year anniversary of the title.
Yeah, I thought about that a lot, and it makes my It makes me like start searching for gray hairs because like I can't believe that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, greatest finals ever. So hopefully this season we can have some times where we can just relive some great moments from that season, and just have a great time with it, because I know the Cavs will probably honor it throughout the year. Nothing's been announced quite yet, but I'm sure that they will. Yeah, why wouldn't they? When the Lakers come to town, I'm sure they'll do something cool. And depending on what's going on with Kevin Love, did you see that thing where Kevin Love and J.R. Smith were at the Knicks game and they had that big embrace? That was cool. Love seeing that.
Cool.
J.R. Smith put his rings on Jalen Brunson. Was like, "You got ring fever now." His Cavs and Lakers rings didn't get him far, obviously. One more game. So we're recording this on Sunday night. This is going up Tuesday. But yesterday was 2 different Cavs anniversaries with 2 different feelings provided for the Cavs fans. First one, 2007, Eastern Conference Finals Game 6. The infamous game where LeBron James scores 29 of the Cavs' last 30 points to take the 3-2 lead over the Pistons, where they go on the next game to go ahead and end the series and head to their first finals in franchise history. So let me see. Let me ask this politely. How old were you when this happened? I was 17.
2007. I was not 17. I would have been I was in 7th grade.
Yeah, I was a junior in high school. Yeah, I was a junior in high school. And so this is LeBron's 4th year in the league. And we heard it a lot at this point of like, is he really as good as they say he is? Is he really this guy? There was none of that the next day at school. Everyone went, all right, we get it. Because this is back, like, we went to school. This is when snow days were affecting days. So we had to go to school till June that year. And yeah, so that was like just unreal, because this is obviously before Twitter, and like this is like before like iPhones and stuff like that. Like, this is like the year of iPhone, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So this was like calling your friends, and this sounds so old man, I'm well aware. Like, hey, are you watching the Cavs Pistons game right now? Because LeBron James is doing this thing right now. And like, if you haven't watched the game before, it's on NBA Hardwood Classics on the NBA app. Just forward to the 4th quarter, and just it's amazing. It's still so captivating. It's still such an unreal game to watch. Also, such a great Cavs jersey.
Oh, one of the best. I can't wait for them to throw back to those jerseys. Yeah, I remember being in I can't remember if I was 7th or 8th grade, whatever, middle school, junior high, whatever. I remember, and I'm the only person in my family that likes basketball, so like I remember watching it, losing my mind, and everybody in my family's like, "What are you losing your mind about?" I was like, "This guy, LeBron James, is doing incredible things." I remember that vividly.
Yeah, just so fun, man. I've watched that game probably about 4 or 5 times. Just put it on and pour a drink and watch some old hoops, man. It's so fun.
Make me want to go throw that on now.
Dude, like that, and Game 6 of the 2016 finals, when they just come back to Cleveland, they just blow them out of the gym. And J.R. Smith is like unbelievable in that game. Those are 2 Cavs games that I just really watch fondly, that I always have a lot of fun with. So highly recommend it if you want to feel good feelings about the Cavs again. And then this one is not so much a good feeling, but is at the same point. I don't know how to feel about it. It's really mixed emotions. So it's the 7-year anniversary of 2018 NBA Finals Game 1, where LeBron has, in my honest opinion, the greatest finals game I've ever seen someone play ever. The 51-8 game against the Warriors. Everyone also knows it as the game that J.R. Smith forgot to score and tried to run out the clock, and they go to overtime. And of course, lose and go on to get swept by the almighty Warriors. So I just bought my condo. I like a couple months before. It was like in my house by myself, got my brand new TV, all excited, wearing my Cavs gear, sitting in my living room, and just watching LeBron have this performance. It's just like also an incredible thing to go back and watch highlights on. Just an unbelievable, like, what the game. And just like in awe, just the whole game. Just can't believe what he's doing. And, like, you knew there was a strong possibility they were getting swept in that series. You knew that they were so far, like, Golden State was so much of a better team than them. It was the 3rd year in a row. It was the 4th year in a row they played each other in the finals. And obviously the conversation's going on at this point is LeBron leaving. we knew he was,
Yeah.
even if he wasn't saying it out loud. And it was just insane. It was unbelievable. I still am in awe of some of the shots he made and some of the plays he made. And then, of course, yeah, there's the JR part at the end. And I just remember the thing that upset me the most about it wasn't necessarily J.R. Smith forgetting the clock. By the way, shout out to George Hill. If J.R. Smith doesn't have that happen, he's the guy that we're here complaining about on a podcast 7, 8 years later. But there's the clip where it came out later, of course. They show them go to the bench afterwards, and LeBron looks up at the Jumbotron and goes, "We had a timeout left." And you see one of the assistants like nod their head, and he just goes, puts his head in his palms, and you're like, "Oh yeah, he's gone. He's not going to be back here next year. That's not happening."
Yeah, I forgot about that. I was living in Cleveland about that time, or in that time, and I'm not a club person at all, but my
Same.
now wife had this connection to this owner. So we had this, it was an outdoor club right on the banks. And they had the TV on, outdoor TV on, and is about this time of the year. So all the midges were coming off of the lake and they were just everywhere. It was disgusting. But I remember being there and watching the finals there, and everybody's losing their mind. And then just watching J.R. Smith have the most. I mean, you actually felt like, holy hell, we can win this. And then that botched free throws, and then J.R. Smith just playing for Golden State, basically. It made me.
And game 3 too. You're like, they're really in it, and Durant hits that shot at the end. You're like, where JR switches onto Durant, and LeBron goes and takes, I think, Kevon Looney or somebody, and then Durant hits the shot, and you're like, oh man, that sucks. But I don't think anyone was beating that team this 2 years. They were just, like, I say it all the time, the 17 team was better than the 16 team for the Cavs. The 17 team, like, legit would have beat anybody by 100 in those finals, except for the Warriors. Like, had it been the Blazers, who were the Warriors played in the, they would have swept them. It wouldn't have been a game. Wouldn't have been a series.
I would agree. I would agree with that. That 17 team was so good.
Yeah, they were awesome. Like, Darren Williams was coming off the bench for them.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they were in Indy and that year and they were down 30? And they came back and won? Oh, man. We could just do this all night. All right. Well, I guess we do have to talk about some things because there are some rumblings out there, Skylar. And I know you and Kev last week talked about the Giannis for Evan Mobley thing. I was not here, so I will go ahead and say it. I wouldn't do it. But I will hold on to that for another conversation when we have more time. This week, the rumblings are going around, or Chris Fedor put out a conversation that he said there is framework on a potential Darius Garland for Jalen Suggs trade between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Orlando Magic. And to my response is, once again, are we sure we want to do that? And I wanted to bring this up because I wanted to get your thoughts on it as well. And we can kind of go through the conversation itself. Like, here's where I'm at. I have a hard time blaming Darius Garland for the playoffs. He literally couldn't move. He couldn't move his feet horizontally. He couldn't turn his foot. He couldn't do the Darius Garland stuff that we all know that he can do. Even with that being said, we talked about this after game 3 in Indiana. He wasn't very good that game statistically. They don't win that game without him. And game 1 and 2 in Miami, the Miami series, he was really good before he sat out for the injury. You know, they said if this were the regular season, he would have missed 2 weeks. So I can't, for the people who are just like, blow it up, this isn't going to work again. I understand the conversation, but I don't think I lean there. And if we want to move on from Darius Garland because he misses a lot of games, you probably don't want to look at Jalen Suggs' basketball reference page. And look, I love Jalen Suggs. I think Jalen Suggs is awesome. He's one of the best on-ball defenders in the NBA. And there's so many things that guy can do. I mean, that Orlando team is just ruthless dudes. But I don't know where I'm at on it. Like, I understand the conversation, but me personally, if it were up to me, if I'm Kobe Altman, I'm not doing it. But what are your thoughts?
I wouldn't do that deal. So I'm not critical of Darius Garland's statistical performance. I totally agree with you in the sense of like, what more do you want from the guy? Like, he couldn't do the things that he can do or that he's known to do, and we expect from him. The piece that I want to like, I would reiterate or rewind back to is just needing guys with playoff aggression, and that's what we've never seen from Darius Garland in any of the playoffs, not even just this past year. So if you're dealing with Darius Garland, I would say the checklist of things need to be A, have playoff experience. So and B, like I don't want a young guy. I want a vet on this team. So be that I'm trying to think of a good veteran point guard that would be on this team or good for this team. Like
Drew Holiday?
Drew Holiday would be good. I would say Dame if he didn't have his Achilles ripped off of his body and maybe
He's
5
already on
years
the
younger.
water treadmill. He's already on the water treadmill. That's insanity.
That's crazy.
God,
So like
unreal.
somebody like that, like
Absolute
good
respect.
playoff aggression.
Absolute
And I
respect.
don't think you get that with Suggs.
No, I mean, he's played in one playoff series, and it was so happened to be against the Cavs.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
I think he got hurt in that series too.
yeah, because that was the year he actually played. He played 75 games that year.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, there's a lot to like about Jalen Suggs' game. I think he's an awesome defender. I understand the idea of not having two small guards. It probably makes Evan Mobley's job a little easier. But I don't think that if I'm moving someone from the four guys, it's not Garland. I understand what you're saying. I don't feel like we have enough evidence quite yet. And look, I get it. We're talking about a guy who's been in the playoffs 3 times now, so there's going to be some people who disagree with me. What's a normal circumstance for Darius Garland he's had in the playoffs so far? So, first year, they lost to the Knicks. Growing pains. You live with that. Last year, we know what last year was. The jaw injury, losing all that weight, couldn't eat food. Hard to come back from it. And this year, we had the toe injury. Now, again, if you want to say to me, well, he's never healthy in the playoffs, I have no argument against that. But I feel like this team is much better with him than they would be without him. And I think there are definitely ways they can improve the roster, even if they do bring everybody back. And I don't think you have to trade Darius Garland to do that. Now, if they do it, I'll accept it. I'll move on. But I don't think I would. I think that, and we'll talk about this later. I mean, we'll have plenty of time, obviously. But if I'm moving one of those guys, I'm seeing if I can get a good deal for Jared Allen. It's not that I don't love Jared Allen. I love Jared Allen very much. I know for a fact that Jared Allen is not going to be a guy that's going to win you a playoff series. We have no
that playoff aggression.
We have no evidence quite yet to say either way, just because everything he's dealt with, if Garland's one way or the other.
That's fair. I mean, let me put this scenario out there. Would you get Kyrie back for Garland?
Alpha torn ACL? No.
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, when is he supposed to be back? I mean, he missed the
tore
first part of the season.
He tore it this year, like this calendar year.
Yeah.
Because it was after they got Davis, and Davis was hurt already. So, no. Financially, we talk about second apron issues. That would be way worse of an issue because Kyrie's making more money than Garland.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I thought they were about there. What's Kyrie making?
Yeah, if I have my numbers correctly, I believe he is. Let me pull up the old spot track. But, do you really want Kyrie next to Donovan Mitchell?
I mean, it would be incredible. It would be incredible in a bucket getting sense.
Yeah, but like if we're complaining about Darius Garland's defense, that's not the guy you go and get.
Oh wow, he's making significantly more money. You're right.
Yes. The Garland deal is gonna have to be like a really good defender who I know I'm not losing a ton from offensively. Like if you take a step down offensively from Garland, I can live with that guy. But I can't live with like Derek White. You know what I mean? Or like Kobe White. Like
Yeah.
I've seen that name floated around. And I love Kobe White. Kevin makes fun of me for it all the time, but I do not want Kobe White playing for the Cavaliers.
I mean, he'll get you a bucket or two, but I don't know how much more you'd get from him though.
Yeah. I like the Herb Jones idea. I know that's come up a little bit. Just trying not to get too deep into trade wonders right now, but I still don't know if I'm doing Garland for Herb Jones. Also, I don't think New Orleans is doing that either, to be fair.
Oh,
But
New Orleans is. They have already they've put out to everybody already saying nobody is untouchable.
I get that, but it's good. But like, I don't know. They're like a team that's been built strictly on playing good defense, at least is the minimum. And they've lost a lot of defensive guys. Najee Marshall's gone. Zion doesn't play defense. Brandon Ingram, but I feel like Herb Jones is probably the one they're probably going to be wanting the most for.
Maybe. I mean, that would be the person I would go get if they say, "Hey, we're open for business." That would be the guy. It's just I don't know if we have anything that any other team couldn't beat just because we're light on draft picks and kind of limited in the moves that we can do.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm on team Keep Garland. Would you say you're on team Keep Garland, or would you say you're?
I would keep Garland unless there's a kind of blockbuster type of move.
Yeah, if there's a chance to get better and you can move Garland, yes, you do it. But I don't know what's out there that's going to get you better. I don't think you're getting Giannis for Garland.
No.
Yeah. Don't think you're getting LeBron for Garland.
Let me look.
Especially with the
you
rules.
do like a Devin Booker?
No. No. Did you watch the season Devin Booker just had?
No, I've watched 0 Suns games.
Good for you. They're terrible. It's not fun to watch at all. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't know who you're getting for him is going to be better because, like, I don't want to trade him for Trae Young
or Tyler Hero.
Yeah. And
I'm struggling. I'm struggling to think of a team that would be a good fit both ways in this situation.
Yeah, and the rules make it weird too. Like, because I've heard something about like a Garland Austin Reeves conversation, and that is interesting, but it doesn't help you defensively. I think you actually get worse defensively, if I remember correctly. So,
yeah, I mean, I think I'm with you though that Jared Allen is probably the guy that gets shopped.
Yeah, and that conversation is more. Okay, actually, let me save that because I want to have that for another episode when Kevin's here because I think that'd be a really fun conversation. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Did you catch anything this week of like the should we say or should we go guys that were out there?
No,
I thought they were all really good episodes. But yeah, Danny and Spencer did a 2-parter on Locked On Cavs this week, just talking about it, and like it was a lot of like that guy should stay, that guy should stay, that guy should stay, but like there are very few they should goes. I have a hard time seeing who I really want off the team. I don't think I have a guy I'm like, that guy needs to leave. But, someone's going to leave, obviously. Thank God. I don't think it'll be Garland, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're right as when it comes to, Okoro, Dean Wade. I think you get just maybe not statistical upgrades, but you get personality upgrades, or you get like we always say, playoff guy upgrades in those departments.
MFers, as we call them. We need some MFers on this team.
Yes. You need some not nice guys.
Yeah. I think Max Strus has in his to be a be a not nice guy. I think he has that in him, but I don't know.
How many people in the league fear Max Strus?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that like Max Strus is playing in the finals.
That's true.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, anything you want to touch on before we get out of here? Anything else?
No, I'm excited for finals. I'm excited to watch that and excited for the off season to start so that we can get some more Cavs news and Cavs kind of content to put out to the people.
No. Actually, let me ask you this one last question before we get out of here. In the 2025-2026 season, are the Cleveland Cavaliers playing on Christmas Day?
I mean, as a fan, I would say yes, but as a logical thinker that knows how this league works, I'm going to say they don't.
I think they do. I think they're the 12 o'clock game against the Knicks.
Wow, you think so?
Yeah. The Knicks always get the opener, get the first game of the day at the Garden. I think it's the Cavs. 64 wins.
I mean, it's gonna
people are interested in
mess up our Christmas days.
Yeah. I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to get by with doing a podcast that day.
I have a feeling I'm also going to get that treatment.
Yeah. But regardless, just like, again, thank you guys so much for spending some time with us. I know we miss being on every day as well with the season being over. We wish we were doing, still talking about basketball games, but we're going to be here every Tuesday, like we said, during the off season. If anything else breaks, anything huge breaks, like one of those guys we just talked about does get traded, we'll be here for sure, all three of us. But as always, be sure to give us a subscription on YouTube. Follow us on your podcast app of choice. Also give us a national review there as well. On behalf of Skylar Webker and Kevin Lynch, I'm Tim Daniel. Everyone have a good week. We'll see you next Tuesday. And of course,
go Cavs.